If you could dispel one myth about the disease.
Well, I don't think that people with treated mental illness are any more dangerous than anybody else. In fact, they're probably less dangerous than a lot of people.
When a group of Racine siblings met Sunday, January 27th to plan a family surprise party, one brother was not invited on purpose. He has bipolar disorder and paranoid schizophrenic tendencies, so his siblings have stopped including him in family gatherings. They hope the exclusion wakes him up and convinces him to get help. This latest strategy, plus years of dealing with his illness, have brought many challenges, his sister said.
One word, I would say challenge, because you never know what you're going to get from him. When he's manic, it's always like a roller coaster of everything. And when he's depressed, that's a hard one too. So every day is different.
And what has been the most challenging part of navigating life together since her diagnosis?
Well, again, I think it's not only since a diagnosis. I think the challenge of dealing with anybody with a mental illness is separating the personality quirks from the illness and knowing what is a function of the illness and what isn't.
Experience that we're going to be able to bring to the table. Because we know that most families in Wisconsin, one way or another, are affected by mental health. Unfortunately, the problems with mental health often go unaddressed, and in fact, many times the onset of mental health happens early in life, and it's left untreated for quite some time. We know that studies show that most often people who eventually are treated for mental illness have had it for sometimes 10 years. It's been left untreated, and it's really a travesty. Like the governor who made us an announcement today, we recognize that the current system for treating those with mental illness is simply not getting the job done.
When you work in the ICU, there's a lot of equipment. There's machines, there's ventilators, IV pumps. When you work in mental health, it's all about relationships with that patient. And it's amazing to me that you never know when you're going to touch that patient right at the right time. And it's so important that when we look at, the equipment's not there, it's all about us. We are the product, and we are working with our patients one-to-one, building that relationship, that rapport, that trust, so they feel comfortable opening up to us so that we can really help them with their core issue that brought them in.
The Racine Collaborative for Children's Mental Health includes people from the hospital, from the local hospital, from Racine Unified School District, from Racine Police Department, from the faith community I mentioned, from family serving organizations, private providers. So it's a whole group of people with multiple different perspectives, and human services also at the table. And that is really helping as we all work together to really understand what the key challenges are in our community and identify the root causes and really drill down to get to understand, okay, who is really being impacted by this aspect of the problem, so that we can better design solutions around those issues that will be really meaningful and impactful in our local community.
I'm an individual living with bipolar disorder in recovery, and I need to talk a little bit about what recovery means when we talk about it in terms of mental health. We didn't used to always talk about recovery because we didn't believe that people could recover from mental health diagnoses, and now we know that that's not true, that people can and do move into recovery. And recovery really is more about spending less of your time and your money and your energy on your mental health issue, and moving forward and having a purposeful, meaningful life as you define it. And so it's really more about the recovery of a life than it is about the recovery from an illness. And recovery is something that every individual with a mental illness can accomplish to some level. There are several components of recovery that have been identified. There are 10 different components. And really, I think that a couple of the most important components are the issue of peer support, getting support from other individuals that are also living with mental illnesses and have common experience. And I think the most important component of recovery is the component of hope. And that's something that we can give to one another also. And it is also something that when we lose, that we can hold for one another. And so by telling my own personal story of recovery, my goal is to give hope to all of those who are living with mental illness so that they can know that they can move through the illness, and when they're given the opportunity to access effective treatments, that they can move forward and have productive, meaningful lives, and move into recovery and have a life that they can enjoy, and maybe not necessarily totally free of illness, not cured of illness, but a life that is meaningful to them, and that they can really enjoy their lives and manage their illness and do whatever it is that they want to do.